Good morning, everyone. My name is Nadine, and Nadine Soraya is my husband, and I've been we've been here for a long time in Georgia. I grew up in New York, but been in Georgia for almost 40 years now. And we have a bunch of kids. I am an educator by trade. However, God led my path in a different direction as my son, as he got older, went through opiate use disorder, so it led my direction differently in life, which was a blessing in disguise. So I am an integrated behavioral health clinician, so that means I do addiction therapy. I'm also partners with Dr. Daniel Amen in the Amen Clinic, so I'm a licensed brain health trainer. Also, I am a founder of the 501c3 Hope Dealers Worldwide, and what we are here to do is to support those in the community whose lives have been touched by the disease of addiction. We started in 2016 as Hope Dealers Worldwide when I did not know what to do with my son and opioid use disorder. Hardcore IV heroin user, okay? No substance use in our family at all. Grew up in a really good family. The other kids, no issues whatsoever. So we're like, what do I do? Well, come to find out, there's a lot of parents, a lot of families in the same situation, coming from good families, from good homes, went to church, just brought them up well, and then this happens, right? So I had to make sense out of it, and I did a lot of research. I found a lot of resources, and I thought to hold them all to myself would be a shame. So this is why we started Hope Dealers Worldwide. I actually took a group of 20 to Guatemala back in 2016 to do an out-of-the-box therapeutic recovery project, and we built a school, eco-friendly school in an underprivileged village in Guatemala. The purpose of that was to get those struggling with substance use disorder, and allies were there too. That means friends and partners. And for a week, they got their mind off of their substance use disorder. They actually had a moment to grow self-worth, purpose, giving back, and doing something for others. And I can tell you to this day, every single person on that trip will tell you. We partnered with Kit Cummings, if anyone knows him, but we did the Hope is a New Dope model school trip, right? He came with us, and every single one of the participants of that trip will tell you to this day, it was one of the best experiences they've ever had in their life. They got hope again. Not only did we go to Guatemala to give hope, they ended up receiving hope and purpose again. So we come back to America, and what happens? They're like, same old, we're going back in our same old stomping grounds, and we don't want to go to this meeting or that meeting. We don't like that meeting. We feel shamed. We feel judged. We blah, blah, blah. So we started the Hope Dealer Support Group meetings. Nowadays, they call them all recovery meetings, but what it is it focuses more on what's right with you today. What do you have to look forward to in your life? A little more on the positive end instead of focusing on the problem, right? So then A&E comes out, that TV channel, and they do, oh look, this nonprofit is doing something different in the addiction space. So they did a little TV show thing on us, and then we started being in the TVs all around the United States and getting all these phone calls, and I'm like, okay, I need to share this good information. So then we had this group of people who had struggled with substance use disorder, and we were like, what can they do now? Some of them have felonies on their records. You know how hard it is to get a job in this country with a felony? Some of them did. But if you become a certified addiction counselor or work in the recovery field, that's okay, as long as you have a certification and do the schoolwork and experience necessary. So I decided to become a trainer for the state of Georgia to train people to become certified addiction counselors. And so I offered those CEUs for like a year, and every person in recovery, I had them come to my classes for free. So they had a free pathway to a job, into a career, so that was cool. And then two people in my class came up to me and said, have you heard of RCOs? And I said, RC what? Recovery Community Organization. There's this place in Atlanta called the Georgia Council of Substance Abuse, now called Georgia Council for Recovery. And they are trying to put one of these in every county. Can we start one? And I said, sure. Whatever my students wanted, whatever made them happy, whatever gave them vision and purpose, let's do it, because that was good for their recovery. Me too. So we undertook this thing and we decided to become the Recovery Organization of Cherokee County. Our board is more than 50% peer-led, so it's a peer-led community, because what the National Health Institute has found is that peer recovery is even more effective than counseling. Going to that once a week counseling, peer recovery is free and it's more effective than that once a week counseling visits. So what can we do to offer peer services? So we started in a little small location that was, you feared for your life just driving in and out of that driveway. And then Sonia that was back in 2020, but then Sonia had the Cherokee Focus House there, and she said they had to move out, and so we moved in. So this is our new location. We're still looking for a professional photographer to take pictures and stuff, but right now we still have the Cherokee Focus Bus picture in front of there. But this is, it actually is 3 levels, and it is an amazing place, and I could show you pictures and tell you about it, but how much more genuine and authentic is it coming from one of our own peers? And so I'm going to have, this is our ribbon cutting. Now, there's some people in that picture who are here, Kendall and a few people there. However, throughout the course of that day last Thursday, we had over 100 people in this community come. There's 62, I think, there, but 100 all day long came, which shows that our community cares. Our community is doing something about this. Otherwise, we would not have had that many people come out. So I'm going to have James give you a little tour. Let me tell you about James. He started with us from day one. He was on the A&E episode and all that. And James is a person in long-term recovery from severe opioid use disorder and other substances. And James feels as if he would not be alive today if he did not have purpose, if someone did not believe in him when he couldn't believe himself. And I tear up because there's so many clients like this. We have to fight for our clients when they cannot fight for themselves, and believe in them when they cannot believe in themselves. And that's what we do. And we love them in a judgment-free way, and we love them back to life. So I think it's best if James gives you a little tour of our facility.
What's up, everybody? James here at the ROCC. It's a beautiful day out, as you can see. Nice. We got all the parking ready to go for people. Everything starts at 1 o'clock. Come through and see us. Just show you guys. We got everything set up.
There's our resource area there. If you have flyers, you can bring it back.
People that come through for a ribbon cut. Everybody's in here getting ready. Put the food out. We got free food. Come see us. We got coffee. Hey, Dean. Say hello.
That's our big meeting room there.
Everybody say hello. Nathan.
That's Nathan. We have a full open bar
I want to read
with
you guys.
Italian sodas and specialty coffee.
Oh, good. All right. Intentionally disruptive. We are abandoned mavericks, constantly innovating, creating, and leaning into the inner cause to change the world. We fight for those who don't know how to fight for themselves. We are champions. We control our own destiny by creating the future. Y'all come to see us. There's a meditation room going on. You can't smell through this video, but I know. This room's all set up. It's been a stressful day. Chill. We got this. You can't see it, but it's pretty cool. Smells nice in here.
It's all better.
126 Barrett Road, Holly Springs, Georgia. There's plenty of parking. You can park at the church. Hit me up on Messenger if you have any questions, and I'd be more than happy to answer them. But love you guys. Stay well, and hit me up if you have any questions. We have plenty of resources, plenty of meetings. We have open 12-step meetings, cheers program, spiritual smack, HA meeting we started Saturday nights. Yoga, like morning crew, AA, all recovery meetings, Young and Alive meeting, Rose Redux NA meeting, Recovery Dharma, Sisterhood, Smart Recovery, Overeaters Anonymous, Art Expression, Serenity Time. We have tons and tons of resources for the community. If you're an addict and you're struggling, please give us a call. This place changed my world, changed my whole life, and has given me a foundation to stand on, and to do the same for you if you're just willing, surrender, and get the life that you so deserve. Mary, this is our art room, yoga room. Mary, say hello.
Hi, Mary.
Hey. She's my best friend, but she's me. I love y'all. Have a great day.
So by far, that was not the most professional video at all. The sound wasn't even that great, but I don't care. The authenticity was what it's all about, and we have served over 6,000 people so far. Just in this past year, we've been able to serve. So let me differentiate here. In the ROCC, the Recovery Organization, Cherokee County, we are like a clubhouse, a community center there for people who are committed to a lifestyle of recovery. So we have every support service imaginable there for them that you could think of, we do for them. However, if they are in crisis or in active addiction or call, the ROCC is not the appropriate level of care for them, right? So we take care of them too, because that's what's most important a lot of times, is saving a life, right? So we have lots of Narcan there and all that. We are supposed to be the community, well, I think we were the community distribution center for Narcan, but that may be changing, I don't know. But when they're in crisis, usually mom calls me or they will call me. They can't hang out in our center, right? That wouldn't be safe. However, we immediately, even if it takes one of our peer recovery coaches, and all of our employees there are certified, state certified peer recovery coaches, we immediately get them to treatment. Now we can get them on insurance also because, as a side note, I am a licensed insurance broker. My husband finally, after 6 years, told me, why don't you get licensed in that so that you can get commissions, and and the commissions are actually directed to the 501c3 to help keep the doors open. So I still don't make a penny in 6 years, but I'm good with that. My husband takes care of us well, so I'm thankful and grateful. But so we can get them into the Blue Ridge Mountain Recovery, the Black Bear, the Mount Sinai. We get them into the 5-star places that they could, where they have private chefs, that they could never ever afford. We get them, on Cigna, Blue Cross Blue Shield, or whatever. But even if they can't qualify for Affordable Care Act insurance, it's okay. We have grants and we have different sources that we vet them, and we get them to wherever they can go. Highland Rivers very often. Wherever they need, whatever they need, we will make sure they're taken care of. And we also take care of the family, because on the family side, I've been there. I'm a peer to the moms and to the loved ones, and I can tell them that they're going to get through. They're going to get through, and I can offer them that hope. So that's where we handle crisis. But then the ROCC is for those maintaining recovery. So why don't people ask for help with substance use disorder? There's a stigma. There's a stigma around behavioral health, mental health, substance use disorder. Used to be called addiction, right? What can we do? Most of us in here are professionals in the helping industry. What can we do? We can change our words. That's the first thing we can do, is change our words to help reduce the stigma. We can change our messaging, right? As you heard me say about James, we loved him back to life, right? We can change our messaging. Becoming person-centered is not only more culturally competent, it's more compassionate, empathetic, loving, and when someone feels loved, they feel accepted as opposed to judged, and they're more likely to ask for help. So what are some of the ways we can change our messaging as community leaders here? Well, if you have a folder there, hopefully my volunteers packed enough. I don't know if they didn't. Maybe there's a few more. There's a couple more on that table, one on that table, but it's a little easier to see. The handout is in there. This is gonna rock some people's world, but do you remember back in the day when they used to say mentally retarded, right? What do we say now? This is a person with an intellectual disability. This is a person on the autism spectrum. We don't say, hey, look at that autistic person, right? So we changed our person-centered language because when love and compassion increases by doing that, well, hate and stigma decreases, right? So these are just a few words I just wanted to share and maybe consider. If you don't already, some of you probably already have changed your vocabulary, but if you haven't already, please consider this is culturally competent. If we write a grant with any of these other words, it will be thrown in the garbage by the government at this point. Just so you know, and we haven't gotten any grants from the government yet. We fund it, and the community funds it all, but that's okay, one day we will. But consider saying a person with a substance use disorder instead of addict, druggie, or junkie. Consider saying person in long-term recovery instead of ex-addict or a recovered addict. We don't say that. A person living with an addiction instead of battling and suffering from an addiction. A person arrested for a drug violation sounds much nicer than a drug offender. Chooses not to at this point, ambivalence. That sounds much better than non-compliant or not willing. Medication-assisted treatment is a pathway for recovery. Medication is a crutch is what maybe the old school would say, right? But medication-assisted treatment is keeping people alive, you guys. It's a pathway. Had a setback instead of relapsed. We don't say the word relapse. Every human has a setback. Every human is imperfect. They've had a setback. Maintained recovery instead of clean and sober. We don't say clean and sober. We don't say how long is your clean and sober time. What's your sober time like? We don't say that. What's the opposite of clean? Dirty, right? So how about we just say maintained recovery? James in there has maintained recovery for quite some time now. We're so proud of him. Instead of a dirty drug screen, how about positive drug screen? Okay, it is what it is. Instead of going to treatment is the only way, well, how about there are multiple pathways to recovery? Instead of enabler, that's a big one, I was called that all the time. How about a recovery ally? Relapse is a part of recovery. No. How about saying recurrence of use might happen as part of the disease? And yes, it is medically proven that addiction is a disease. And they can show it in the brain, it's a disease. Instead of hit rock bottom, oh, how many people say that person just needs to hit rock bottom? Sometimes rock bottom is 6 feet under the ground. How about the elevator gets off at every floor? Everybody's different. So of course there are many words we could add to this guide, but most importantly is we lovingly and consciously keep our language person-centered. We play a huge part in reducing behavioral health stigma, which results in increasing love and compassion amongst our community. Leaving love is our legacy. So this is what we offer at the ROCC, and we're wrapping it up here. I don't know how much time I had, but I'm almost done, okay? We offer daily support group meetings, all the 12 steps. You heard James mention spiritual smack. He chairs that meeting. He leads a group of people there who have struggled with opiate use disorder, and they call it spiritual smack, and it's the HA meeting. He feels so important doing that, and that's important for people in recovery. To stay in recovery is to keep serving and giving back. We have Dharma recovery, all recovery, smart recovery. We even have Overeaters Anonymous. I'm just saying. Doesn't have to be this toxic. Well, sugar's toxic. Doesn't have to be an illegal substance, right? We have recovery yoga, art expression classes, Reiki. One of our board members, Reiki certified. We have the relaxation room that you saw. We have certified peer support recovery coaching. And if I could tell you about Mary, who's our peer case manager, she stays on call 24/7. I don't know how she does it. She doesn't get burned out, but that's her recovery. She's been in recovery for 11 years. And 2 in the morning, she's taking calls and helping people and talking the needle out of the arm. And I'm telling you, she's a godsend. We are a resource and referral hub. So if you have an organization or a service here, please make sure that your flyers are on our resource table. I see Diane here. Yes, we have Walmart Health there because some people can't get insurance, and they have Walmart Health that they can go to. Including treatment placement is a big thing we do. We have all different type of funding sources for treatment, rehab, housing placement, and re-entry from incarceration. We have free Wi-Fi. We have printing that they can do, a snack cafe. We have a full open bar with Italian sodas and specialty coffees. We have quiet work study areas. We give away free phones and free tablets with the free Wi-Fi. One of our employees there, Amber, works for the Federal Connectivity Program. So people, especially when they're coming out of incarceration, they need phones, they need tablets, they need free Wi-Fi. They don't need another bill. We have community workshops, classes, social events, a social hangout. And we do service projects and outings because we don't ever want to forget where we started with that school in Guatemala. Serving is a way to stay in recovery, to maintain our recovery. Here's what's upcoming, is our CHEERS program. We spoke with our peers. By the way, I'm a person in long-term recovery from severe anxiety disorder. I've been free from that for 11 years now. So mental health can touch you in any way. I've never touched a substance, but my son, I've watched him go through it and I've experienced it, which sometimes I think is harder as the family member than the person going through it. But I've had my own behavioral health issue with anxiety, and I haven't felt anxiety in 11 years, thank God. So I understand behavioral health. And a lot of this untreated anxiety and a lot of this untreated ADD or any untreated mental health issues in some people can lead to substance use disorder. For me, it was food, So everyone has their own vice, right? Mine is legal with food. But anyways, we spoke to our peers and we said, when is the time, our peers that we send to treatment, we said, why did you have this setback? When did you have a setback, right? Which most people call relapse. Setbacks are occurring mostly on the weekends because they're working during the week, they've got their life back, they've got a job back, but then comes Friday at 5 o'clock and they're off work. They can't go to the bar anymore. Maybe they just broke up with their spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend. Maybe they have an angry spouse at home and just can't stand to be around them. Setbacks happen on the weekend. I cannot tell you how many funerals we've gone to. It happened last weekend, it happened this weekend. So from the mouth of our peers, we would like to start the CHEERS program. It's going to take a lot of volunteers to make this happen because we want excellence and integrity with the supervision that goes on with this. But it will start Friday at 6 p.m. after work, and we are going to stay open around the clock, 24-hour, until Sunday midnight-ish. We'll see how it goes. We have a lot of volunteers signed up already, but we want a place where people can come and just be them. If they want to grab some art supplies and just sit and paint with someone, they can, with an Italian soda, right? If they want to play games, poker, cards, social hangout, movies, we have so many different rooms. Our trivia, the karaoke machine just arrived yesterday. Relaxation room, anything you can think of. If they just want to sit back on the couch and take a nap or just speak with another certified peer coach, they can do that. They can be there, because when they're there in the safety of the ROCC, we know that they're not out alone about to have a setback. So we like to think that we are saving lives, we're preventing funerals. I can't even imagine all the people that may not be with us today if they were not able to get to the treatment that we've sent them to, or if they just not have the lending ear or the feeling of purpose, like James, you saw in the video. People are blown away that James is still with us today. James is doing well, and we're so thankful and grateful. So if anyone ever wants to volunteer, we take volunteers like at 4-hour shifts over this Cheers program. Hopefully we'll begin it soon. We'd love for you to come and just sit and play a game of Scrabble, or play some cards, or play karaoke, or if you and your husband are going out for trivia night or whatever, maybe come to trivia night at the ROCC, if we have it there. And just spend time with people. Let them know that they belong to something that's safe. It doesn't have to have substances there. We say the opposite of addiction is connection. The opposite of addiction is not sobriety. The opposite of addiction is connection. Johann Hari said that. And when we can create connection and community, and when we can raise the level of love more than anything, love drives out all evil, I believe. You can love someone back to life. So that is our program. That's the ROCC. I do want to mention just one thing, and then I'd love to take questions. We are having a free Narcan training. This is not for people that are using substances. These are for people who know others that are at high risk. I carry a box of Narcan in my car at all times. And I'll never forget, about 6 months ago, going into the Publix parking lot, and there was someone overdosed in the Publix parking lot. I had the ability to save someone else's life, pull that Narcan out of my trunk, and squirt it in their nose, and then immediately call 911. So this is not for those people. This is for you to help save a life. So we only have 25 spaces. If you would like to sign up for this free training, you will be supplied with your own supply of Narcan. And there are information sheets in the folder there. And I would love to take questions and answer your questions for you. Yes.
Do you have to be in recovery in order to participate or volunteer at this Cheers time?
Not at all. In fact, anybody who comes and hangs out at our community center are people in long-term recovery, allies, loved ones, family members. 100%. Yes.
Do you have services all in English, Spanish speaking, or
When Beto was here, we had a whole Hispanic ministry, but our country decided he should be in Mexico and not here serving, so whatever. He's trying to get back. But we had all our literature in Spanish. My book that I wrote is translated in Spanish. I still put Beto on the phone with anyone who speaks Spanish. He can come in and do that. We actually had the first and only Narcan training all in Spanish about a little over a year ago with the Georgia Overdose Prevention. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Is anybody focusing on the source? Where are the people getting stuff here in our area? Is anybody focusing on where it's coming from?
Yep.
Well, yeah, we have a
You can see
team.
any questions.
There's a team in our county that works on that, and of course we report anything we know anonymously to a tip line. But Sonia.
And we did, we're Drug-Free Cherokee, which we're tied to the grant out of the White House, which is youth. And so, why don't we do everything where we're tied to youth and prevention. But our chair is Walter Jones, who is the head of the Cherokee Multi-Agency Narcotics Squad. He was in my office yesterday, and we were talking about that. And just, it's not only now the risk of the drug they're doing is every single drug he said is laced with fentanyl right now. So, and I'm going to have him give reports and maybe come and have a report on that very subject because, you know, a lot of times, and I don't know if you remember, this was Living Alive did a thing. There's a place called the Bluffs in Atlanta where that's where the drug deals go down, and they had a camera, and the camera, you know, caught the license plates, and it was people from Cobb and Cherokee County that were going down and bringing them back. So as we are a bedroom community, and most of us go out of the county to work every day, we get our drugs and bring them back. So yeah, and it's not the community. I know Cherokee County people are shocked. You know, it's covered well. You wouldn't know. We've had kids. You would not know. You know, affluent families, you would not know who drug dealers are. They don't look like you think they would. It's not a street corner like people may think it is. So we will do, actually, we're gonna do a whole thing on just that.
Heroin used to be the big problem. Then it went to fentanyl. Fentanyl is gonna look like applesauce compared to we heard is coming. Tran. I don't know if anyone's heard of Tran. It's coming down from New England. So it hasn't hit our county yet.
And here's what I'll say, you know,
But
and
let's just love our
what was your
people.
second question?
Well, I read that last night, matter of fact, about the trend, and it said that Narcan, you can't use, that doesn't work for, if someone is using the fentanyl or trend. Is that correct?
Well, that's why we hope to have a really great Cheers program and keep people safe
And that's true. And I will say two things because I know everybody else wants to talk and give us some information. Thank you, Nadine.
Yes.
And Nadine will be here.